All right, Dunn, over there at King County Council. So it looks like you've been on these guys, the workers there at King County. Like, come on back to the office. You've had more than enough time off. You've been offering them an opportunity to come back and do the old sort of just let's have fun around the water cooler and, chit chat and things like that. They've been fighting it for a long time, but it looks like they did come back the other day just briefly to say we're not coming back.
That's right, man. Well, John, there's a new sheriff in town.
Oh.
We're bringing employees back to King County so they can hang out around the water cooler and collaborate and do the people's work and open up the permitting offices and all the places you need to go to get your documents and forms and everything else. Sadly, though, they decided to protest and come into the office, which I appreciate, just to say they didn't want to come back into the office. Right. And if you read the 300 comments in the Seattle Times article, almost exclusively people are like, wait, you don't want to come in 3 days a week? That's too much for you. And it doesn't look good, I don't think, for the employees to make that kind of political statement.
Okay, I'm going to take their point of view. If they can still do the work, whatever that is, and if you can have metrics to prove that they're doing the work, okay, the upside to society is, one, they're not on the roads. Two, they're at home and maybe they're doing the work and they're happier, and they are saving money and they're staying at home. So there are benefits you see to them not asking them to come in, right? If they can do the work and do the work well, what does it matter that they're in the office?
I think there's something to be said about that. And that's why we've requested a 3-day work week. So I'm not asking folks to come back 5 days a week like Amazon and Microsoft and Boeing and all the other companies have done. I'm asking them to come back in 3 days a week. And Executive Gurmai Zahalai is asking them also to come back in 3 days a week. But the problem with your assumption is that isn't what's happening. I mean, a lot of the offices that people come into that are supposed to be there to be open, for example, in the administration building, are not open. You can't get there. I showed NPR around the facilities here the other day, and she got to see how it's just crickets in these buildings during the middle of the work week. We're not getting the efficiency we need. We're not getting the collaboration we need. Requests for information aren't getting back as quick. Services aren't being done, and that's the concern. Okay,
well, I see that. I mean, if it's one-on-one government employee interacting with the public and they're not there, like that's fine. I'm saying if this person never has to deal with it one-on-one, permits or somebody complaining, well, that's a different story. I think what happens was when you say 3 days a week, it's like this arbitrary number. They're like, well, why 3? Why not 2? Why 1? Why not 4? Like they just sort of see it as, well, you're kind of giving this strained compromise on it. And again, sure, I understand if you want them back, but it all has to be the metrics. If they're doing the job, if they're not doing the job and they're sitting at home, then get in, right? That's a different story. But you have somebody sitting there. Once somebody tastes freedom, chance of them going back again, that's the problem, right?
Well, and there's 66 bargaining units in King County, right? And so before they got embedded in the contracts with labor, we wanted to bring them back. So a lot of employees are just working 1 day a week in the office, right? And before they embed that in permanent contract, I wanted to get them back in. So the reason why I made a request to 3 days a week is for just this reason. It's pretty hard to say no to it. It doesn't sound reasonable. I called the exec yesterday and I said, hey, let's do a comprehensive study.
Yeah.
Let's look at the metrics from what's happening now. Let's study it when they come back and see if we can determine what is working. I'm open. Hey, if you can prove to me you can do the work in the office by not being there, I'm supporting it.
I'll give you another benefit. This is, I think, from, I think it might be in Australia, flexibility worker. Where is this? That more people are staying home, getting the work done, and then getting it done, if you know what I mean. Fertility rates increasing. This is Norway. So they're working from home and they're, I guess, taking some breaks and having more babies. Work from home is adding to the fertility rates. They're in, I think, in Australia or in other parts, or just actually in the United States as well. This is a Princeton University study, finds out that when people that are working from home are taking some much needed time with their partner. So that's good.
That's an interesting study. I'll study that, although it's none of our damn business. But okay, great. There are benefits to working at home, I suppose. But I mean,
it's not the taxpayers. Not taxpayers are the only ones getting screwed. And then here's the other one. Here's the other benefit one. This is from Germany. What they said is the problem is when the workers are not coming in, then the local economy that's built around them buying sandwiches and dry cleaning and stuff is directly hurt. So then Germany said, okay, how about this? How about we tax remote workers the privilege of staying home? I think it was like 5% or something like that. Take that money and then redistribute that out, or tax breaks or something to help the economy that has suffered because the workers are not coming back into the town to spend the money that they would normally spend during their workday. It's sort of not that you guys can do that in King County, but I thought there was sort of an interesting some way to try to make everybody some benefit that has to be paid. You have to pay for the benefit of working from home, but you'd never get that passed on the unions.
It's an interesting idea. I'm open to it, John. The problem is, these are union protected employees. They're paid with a salary that assumes they're in the office. And much of what the government does are stovepipes. They've got to work together. They've got to collaborate.
Yeah.
Within their department and then share information. For example, permitting and public health, right? They do the septic side of it, permitting. When people are all working from home, that information is not being shared. And that's the problem.
I get it.
It goes back to your metrics, John. It really does. We should study it, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. Just say, look, you work from home and all this work is not being done. This is what we expect you to do. And you're not doing it. If you need to do it come in, then you have to do it here. But they have to be held to the metric of, we don't care where those people that are able to succeed at home and you're meeting the metric, great. That's your benefit. But for some reason, you don't seem to be doing well from home. We're going to bring you in. We treat people like children because that's how you do. You have to do it. And you come in, you do the work here, and guess what? You're doing the work well here. Maybe you go back home again. I mean, it is like a fourth grader, but why not? Because at this point, they're acting like children. Like, I know, well, we don't want to come back into work. Yeah, you can't fire them. That's the other problem you got, Reagan. You can't fire any of these people. Government never gets rid of a union worker.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges. We took a look at all the scan cards. You have to scan to get into the buildings, right?
Yeah.
For people who hadn't scanned their card in 4 years. 4 years they hadn't scanned their card. And that's why people are outraged here.
Yeah.
We can do better.
Yeah.
So,
and the people that are coming into work.
My vision is bring back everybody three days a week.
Okay.
Let's look at it and then convince us, not during the course of a pandemic where we have no choice, convince us that remote work is helpful. But I think the public's highly skeptical at this point.
Yeah. Well, if you just set the line, they meet the bar. If they do it, great. If not, then you make the changes on thing. All right, hit him out of here with a horse and cow.